Now it's time for some breaking news. And GR, I saw you in the comments there. Welcome back, GR. As always, thanks for being here on Cruise Control. All right, we're going to jump into a little bit of breaking news. And as we have done doing a past couple days, we do a little bit of just kind of jumping into some things before we get into our discussion pieces. So the very first thing that I want to talk about tonight is Julian Sands. Now, Julian is an actor that's been around for a long time, since like the 80s, and a very well-known actor. And unfortunately, he has gone missing. So this is something, he's actually lives here in the Valley. He's a British actor, 65 years old. And he went missing at Baldy Bowl area just almost 2 weeks ago. Almost 2 weeks ago, they've had helicopter searches, drone searches, people on foot. They've been looking for him everywhere. They actually found somebody else who got missing in the same time frame. They found somebody else, but they have not found Julian. Now, you might know Julian from Phantom of the Opera. He was on 24 for a long time. One of the big shows I know him from is Arachnophobia. He was the doctor on Arachnophobia. So he's a great actor, very talented. It's unfortunate he went for a hike and he disappeared. And now that it's almost 2 weeks have gone by, I don't know if we'll find him or not. I know a lot of his family is kind of giving up hope, but we're here pushing for him. Hopefully they find him soon. We'll keep you updated if they do. A lot of people are looking for him, and hopefully someone will be able to save him. I really hope so. And somebody else in the news, speaking of saving, they're saying that Harrison Ford will be saving Shrinking. Now, Shrinking is a new show coming out here. It starts actually tomorrow. It debuts on Apple TV Plus. All right, but it's Jason Segel's new show where he plays a therapist that can't deal with the passing of his wife. She died a year ago, and now he's having a breakdown. He's having a hard time talking to his patients, and he starts saying too much and telling them to do things they would normally not do, and it actually starts working. To me, it looks like it's a fun show. There's 10 episodes coming out. Like I said, it starts tomorrow. But he's getting kind of bashed a little bit. They're saying if it wasn't for Harrison Ford, it wouldn't be good. We'll find out very soon if that's true. But also, speaking of therapists and people that help people out, Frasier's coming back, everybody. That's right. There's a revival for Frasier. And I was just like, this is happening. This is totally happening, everybody. And Frasier, it was a huge show. It went from like, what was it, 1993 to 2004, which is insane to me. It was 108 Emmy nominations. It won 37 of them. Best actor for, it's insane. It's been a great show. And it's returning with Kelsey Grammer. He's going to come back. And they're saying now he's in a different city, living a different life with new challenges, new relationships to forge, and an old dream or two to finally come true. So it's going to be coming out soon. They haven't released it. They're just finalizing casting. So more information will be coming about that soon. So hopefully it's good. I'm excited about it. I love Frasier. When I was, growing up, I loved putting it on. It would be like 5 a.m. or something like that. Reruns forever. It's a great show. But also, speaking of revival coming back, How I Met Your Father is in the news, and it's because Neil Patrick Harris is back, everybody. That's right. Barney Stinson is coming back. He actually did his reappearance on the season 2 premiere, and now they're saying he's going to have a bigger storyline. They don't want to bring in these characters from How I Met Your Mother unless they have like a big impact on the script and the storyline and the characters moving forward. So they're saying that he will have a big impact. What it is, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, How I Met Your Father is streaming on Hulu right now. So I love Barney. He had the bro code. Barney was awesome, and especially Neil Patrick Harris. I feel like he started playing this character where he was the ladies' man. When it's like Doogie Howser is now the ladies' man. Hold on, it worked in Harold and Kumar, and it worked great on this. And he, Barney probably has 1 million kids out there somewhere. I'm just saying, and he's probably hoping they're not the children of the corn. I'm guessing he's hoping they're not the children of the corn, because that's coming back, everybody. Children of the Corn is coming back as a redo Stephen King's project for the AMC Network's horror streaming service, Shudder. Now, it's going to go to theaters first. They're going to have a release coming out March 3rd. They're going to do an 18-day release before it actually goes to Shudder for streaming. So they're going back to the 80s and bringing back Children of the Corn. And, if you know anything about this, about a girl pretty much that goes into the corn and she gets possessed, and then she gets all of her friends possessed, and then they all start killing all the parents. It's pretty brutal. I really wasn't a big fan of it. But again, we talked about this in the show a million times. They love pulling from the 80s, pulling from the past, redoing stuff that honestly could just be left behind. But, they just want to bring back serial killer kids. Why not? Everybody's serial killer kids time. And speaking of serial killer, let's talk about the Joker for a second, too. Mark Hamill Mark Hamill, everybody, one of my favorite voice actors for the Joker, says he's done playing the Joker, which is really sad. I mean, he's kept coming back for video games, for renditions. It was great. But now that Kevin Conroy has passed, his Batman, he says, my Joker has to be done too, because how do you have Joker without his Batman? And for the longest time, that was his Batman. So without him, Mark Hamill says he's stepping down and he's letting it happen. He's giving up the Joker. So I don't think that cartoon's going to be the same, but cartoons that will be the same. One more thing in our breaking news section. The Simpsons, Family Guy, and Bob's Burgers are coming back for not one, but at least 2 more seasons. Now you probably say to yourself, well, they're probably not going to end because Simpsons been around for, this will be their 35th and 36th season. 35th and 36th season. Family Guy, what's this? 22nd and 23rd. And I was like, that's been around that long? And even Bob's Burgers, which I've known for a long time, but I didn't know it's gone. Now it'll be 14th and 15th season renewal. So it's insane. All of these are renewed. 2 seasons. They're all in the top 10 comedies of 2022. They're huge. So they just keep going and they just keep going and they just keep going. And to me, I believe that they're great shows. I'm going to go to Sabrina here right now. Sabrina, you hear about this. What do you think about Simpsons and Bob Burgers and The Family Guy actually coming back for not 1, but 2 more seasons? And do you think that it warrants it, or do you think that these shows need to move on? Oh, Sabrina, you're muted, so we can't hear you. Sorry about that. Makes me feel old. I know it does. It makes us all feel old. What do you think about that, Sabrina?
I've been watching The Simpsons since I'm basically a child, like when it was a sketch on the Tracy Ullman show. So I feel like that is just part of the fiber of television. And I have no problem with that carrying on. I don't watch it as much as I used to. It is one of the only successful from TV to movie things, in my opinion. I loved the Simpsons movie. Which is really rare for me. If anybody who's been watching the show,
and people hate on that movie too. People hate on it, but it's a great movie. So,
Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. It's my favorite. I love it. So I'm down for that. Bob's Burger, I also love Bob's Burgers. It's super fun. It's the I hate that I don't remember his name, but the same guy who voiced Archer.
Archer,
he's hilarious.
So H. John Benjamin.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel. I literally was I spent 5 minutes looking for it, and you know, who wants to waste that time when we're live? Thank you. I appreciate that. He's amazing. All of the voices on there are amazing. The characters are so great, like the main characters and the offshoot characters too. The Family Guy, I'm hit or miss on. It used to be really great when it came back. I feel like it's hit or miss for me. Although I do, you know, love Seth MacFarlane, but I just, you know, it's definitely hit or miss for me.
Yeah, and these shows, like, honestly, they have so much momentum. It seems like they're not going to stop. And think about this. Family Guy was canceled. It came back. It still has staying power. Simpsons is just like the longest running show ever, which is insane. Rachel, what do you think about this? Are you a fan of any of these shows? And are you excited about them all coming back? Or maybe there's something you're not excited about. Let us know. What do you think?
I really love Bob's Burgers, so I'm always happy to have more Bob's Burgers. But I feel like after these next 2 seasons, it's kind of time to start ramping all 3 of them down. Like, they've all, I feel like, run their course. The Simpsons, they keep having to change their backstories to make them still stay the same age and universe. So, like, they've had to go from Homer being in high school in the 70s to now in the 2000s. So
I didn't know that.
I think it's time.
That's hilarious.
I think it's time to call it a day. The show's been on longer than I've been alive. And I'm over 30, so I think it's time.
It's like, guys, come on. I mean, how much more can you do? And they say The Simpsons has done it for everything, right? It's an ongoing joke because they've been around for so long. And the fact they're giving it 2 more seasons right off the bat means they don't want this to stop, I don't think. Fox is like, let's just keep it going. And the ratings are great. The fact that
they have a clairvoyance to them. They've predicted a lot of things on The Simpsons. I'm just saying.
They have.
But is it still relevant?
I mean, it was relevant. They predicted Donald Trump becoming president, basically, and that was only like, what, 6 years ago? So I'm going to go, it's still relevant. Just saying.
Things are still popping up in culture, in life. But the thing is, though, too, like I said, they're in the top 10 for the best comedies of 2022. So if you already have that, you have winning comedies, and you have a built-in audience, Rachel, isn't it hard to cancel something like that? Do you think that Fox would be reluctant?
I think from a financial standpoint, they absolutely want to keep it going as long as they can still get any money and any merchandise sales out of it, they'll keep it going. But it's just from a viewership and artistic standpoint, what's left to do.
There's a lot of money grabs here, and Lexi said in the comments too, like it's been going on so long.
I think keeping The Simpsons on makes more sense than bringing back Frasier. but
they want to bring Frasier back. That's what I'm saying. I liked Frasier when I was younger, and it's always fun to watch, but it's like, do we have to? It's like Night Court too. They brought Night Court back, and it's doing great. And that's what we talk about all the time on this show. It's just like they keep going back in time and say, well, what else can we reboot now? What else can we remake? Because we might have an audience still, or maybe it had an audience one time before, so it can have an audience again. And then like Family Guy was one of those shows, like I said, it got canceled and they brought it back, and look at how well it's thrived because of that. Seth MacFarlane's laughing his ass off all the way to the bank, like, I mean, and it still works. I don't know how it still works. Sabrina, do you think that Simpsons still works, or do you think that it should be done? I mean, you said you haven't watched it in a while, but do you think that it still works?
Yeah, so I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, I have not watched it in a while, so I can't say whether it holds up. But if Fox is renewing it for another 2 seasons, that means the numbers are good, and that's what they're looking for. Unfortunately, that's what everyone's looking for, and that's why there's so few original ideas, because no one wants to take a chance on something, that they're not sure it's going to do well. They'd rather stick with things that they know were successful at one point or are successful now, instead of taking a chance on something new, which I think is a huge mistake, but it's something that is happening, I feel like, more and more. That's why there's all these reboots and redos and prequels and it's sequels. It's just like no one has an original idea anymore. They're making movies, TV shows, and TV shows, movies, and it's just like, fuck, like, get new writers, like go and have contests, like have young people like start, write and do, like, I don't know, they have to do something, because just recycling the same material over and over again is getting fucking old.
Yeah, but there's a trade-off here. At least it's funny. At least they're all funny. So we get some laughs, and people are still excited. It's like we talked about South Park before, South Park coming back too, and they're going to be around until 2027. So there's an audience, there's money to be made. These big people aren't going to get rid of these shows. I'm still excited to see where they go with it. I need to get back in The Simpsons. It's funny. I thought, like, I know it's been going, but I haven't watched it either for a long time. Family Guy put on every once in a while, but every time I put these shows on, I still laugh. So maybe there's still some reason for it to be on the air.
Bob's Burgers is the real MVP out of this group.
Hell yeah.
I mean, great for Bob. Bob is just going to keep going, hopefully, too. But the question is for you out there, what do you think about this? Are you excited about Simpsons being around and Bob's Burgers? And are you excited about these and keep going and Family Guy? Because they're going to keep happening, and because Fox will not let the rights go.